Hi, I'm Lin.
And I'm Leo. Welcome back to Yoga with Lin and Leo.
And welcome to day 3 of our Change of Season series.
Yes, so this series, hopefully you've been following days 1 and days 2. If you like the videos, please do click on the like button. And if you haven't already subscribed, then please do. That way you get information every time we put a new video out.
Okay, so hopefully you're on your mats. We're coming from Adho, Mukha, Svanasana, so coming to your kneeling position, placing your hands.
Can I just mention, you might need to have a yoga brick for this. If you haven't got a yoga brick, then a folded blanket would do.
Yeah. Okay, so taking your hands forward, kneeling, placing your palms, tucking your toes under, and lifting up into Adho, Mukha, Svanasana, dog head down. So we've been going through this pose, day 1 and day 2. We've already mentioned how important it is to get a really good grounding in the palms and the wrists moving towards the palms and above the elbow, really getting that lift through the soft tissue fibre all the way through the side waist. And then lifting the lower abdomen and extending with those legs. Those legs really need to push back very strongly so that you get the lift of the kneecaps, the action in the backs of the thighs, and then the length along the sole of the foot. So try to ground those outer heels down as much as possible. And then look forward, just look forward, lift the chin right up so that you lift even more through your front body. Now go on lifting through the buttock, through the side waist, through the abdomen, and now step or jump those legs towards your hands for Uttanasana. Now this time, I'm going to take the feet together. So those of you who find that you've got enough mobility to be able to take the legs together, then do so. If you need to keep the legs a little bit apart, then that's absolutely fine too. So spider your fingers in front of you, lengthen through the center of the body, lift through the lower abdomen, keep the extension through the collarbones, and now take your hands back as far as you can, keeping the back nice and long. So without taking this back towards your thighs, take your hands back. And now challenge that action of length, lengthening the sideways. So notice that we're not taking the spine towards the leg side, we're seeing that we're getting equal length, extension. So this will challenge your legs a little bit more. And now soften the elbow and let the back release towards the thighs and the head moving down towards the floor. So if you can flatten your palms, then flatten your palms and press into your palms really strongly to get that extra lift through the legs. So we're going to come into the Utkatasana action. So now, being sure if you've got your feet a little bit apart, bring them together. Take the weight back into your heels, soften the knees, draw the abdomen to the spine, lengthen those arms for Utkatasana. Be in this position. Go on extending through the side waist, all the way through to the fingertips. Soft inhale, soft exhalation. And now come all the way up into Urdhva Hastasana. Take the arms down into Tadasana and just recover. Stand the body from the base, take the weight back into the heels and lift up through the side waist. Soft inhale, soft exhale. Just be there for a few moments. Just be really passive in your facial features. Let the back teeth be apart. So it's not relaxation, but it's just detaching, just being in your practice, being on your mat, feeding yourself with the yoga. Okay, and now really sit. So stand in the center of your mat. So we're coming into one of the more challenging actions, which is Ardha Chandrasana to start with. So this is a balancing action where half moon pose, where we're standing on one leg. So those of you not familiar with Ardha Chandrasana, then do take a look at our pose directory. Okay, so with us now, taking your fingers together, jump for a Uttanasana action. So extending at this stage, making sure that your legs are really grounded and you're getting this lift through the center of the body. And now Turn your back foot in and the front leg out for Uttanasana. Coming to your Uttanasana action. Extend over. Extend the top arm up. So from here, we're going to come for Ardha Chandrasana. So if you're new at this, then just take your hand onto the hip. But if you're well seasoned, then you can keep the hand up. Bend your front leg and place your hand to the outer side of your foot. Just be there for a few moments, draw the abdomen in, and remember the instruction that I've already given in Trikonasana, Parivrtta. This outer hip needs to really move back strongly towards the back leg, so get that joint really nice and open. Okay, now as you reach that arm forward, the front arm forward, about a foot in front of the little toe, step the back leg in. Okay, so some of you will be able to lift without stepping that leg in, but if that's challenging, then step it in and lift up. So notice the weight's got to go forward for this leg to come up. Otherwise, if our weight remains back, this will be very heavy. Stamp into the heel, stamp into the sole of the foot, roll your shoulders back and down, and if you're able to, then raise that top arm up. So very challenging indeed. Soft inhale, soft exhale. Lift this top hip up even more. Okay, so we're going to come back into Trikonasana. Try not to drop out of the pose. Keep it really steady and strong. So coming out slowly into a Trikonasana action and straightening the front leg, extending the arm up. Okay, now to come up, just take your time, lift your abdomen, extend, breathe, and come up into your standing position. Turn your feet to face forward. Turn your left foot in, the whole of your right foot and leg out. And now, coming into your Trikonasana action, extending over. So keeping the back leg really strong, lifting that top hip up, extending. Soft inhale, soft exhale. Pull up your front leg, front thigh. Now, placing the hand onto the hip, bend your front leg. And the same thing, prepare this hip because you really need to get a lot of mobility in that hip. The outer hip moves back and in. And open the chest. Okay, now reach in your front arm forward, extend about a foot in front. Now, if you can get that length through the center of the body, you can lift that leg up from here. But if you need to step it in, then step it in. Good. Extend. So I'm just going to straighten out Leo's mat a little bit. So that's a really challenging action to do. You've got to get a lot of length through the centre of the body. So if you do need to step that foot in a little bit to get the weight forward, then do so. And if you're not quite sure about the techniques in this pose, then do take a look at our pose directory. If you can take that arm up, take the arm straight up. Take a few soft, deeper inhalations, lifting that top hip up. Okay, so we're going to come back into Trikonasana, a good Trikonasana now. So a nice big step back, big step back. Yeah, that's the way to do it. And then come into Trikonasana. Okay, soft inhale, soft exhale. And now come all the way up, turn the feet to face forward and bring those legs together. And recover, standing Tadasana. Soften the eyes, be aware of the breath, be aware of the chest, lift the sternum chest, lift up through the legs, soft inhale, soft exhale. Okay, so our next pose still will involve some balancing because we're coming into the revolving action of Ardha Chandrasana. So Parivrtta, Ardha Chandrasana. Okay, so taking the fingers together and jump those legs again. Okay, so we're going to turn the back foot in and the front leg out. Okay, so this comes from a really good Parivrtta Trikonasana. So coming to your Parivrtta Trikonasana, we practice this on day one. Put your hand onto the pelvis and remember, keep those hips absolutely lifted and strong. Lift the abdomen and reach through the whole of the center of the body. Now reach that front arm, so the left hand goes forward in front of the big toe and then come up into your balance. Lift that back leg up. Keep the hips absolutely strong and straight, and keep rotating that top arm. For those of you who can, then you can lift that arm straight up. If it's a bit too much, then keep the hand on the back of the pelvis. Soft inhale, soft exhale, stamping to that back leg. Lifting that back leg a little higher if you can, a little higher if you can. And then we're coming out of the action, so a nice big step back, but be steady, so that you go slowly, so that you keep your balance. Coming to your Parivrtta Uttanasana, and then coming out of the action. So very, very strong action. So we come now to your left side, turn your right foot in, hold of the left leg and foot out, and keep revolving. Taking your right hand to the outer side of the foot. Soft inhale, soft exhale. Go and extending that top arm up strongly. So now we're going to come into the travelling part of the action. So place the hand onto the hip. Reach that front hand in front of the big toe. So bend soften the front leg to do this, and then take the weight all the way forward over the leg, so that this back leg becomes light to lift. Go and see that you keep the hips absolutely stable. Lift the abdomen towards your sacral area. Roll the top shoulder. For those of you who can, extend that top arm up, palm up, reach in, soft inhale, exhale, and then a really big step back for your Parivrtta Uttanasana. Taking the hand in front, so you're coming into that nice revolving action, and then coming up out of the pose. So all of those actions take tremendous concentration and stability. Okay, and recover. And recover. Soft inhale, soft exhale. Just be there for a few moments, just recovering, scanning your body from the base. Ensure that you are broadening the soles of the feet, broadening the toes, taking the weight back into your heels and lifting right up through the center of the body. So we come to our twist now, so we're coming down to the floor level. So we're coming for Ardha Matsyandrasana. It's always a bit of a challenging on this one. So we're going to come into the first stages, and we're just going to show you the classic way of placing the foot. So not everybody finds this an easy action to do. So we're going to give you two options. So let me just show you the foot action of this pose. So you have to see, it's quite a nice way of working to tuck that little toe under, and then place your buttock on the inner heel and the other buttock on the big toe joint. So you're in this position. So, and actually just to keep this position for a lot of people can be really challenging, particularly if the feet are very tight and stiff. So that's the action. And then we come to sitting on the foot, taking the leg over in this position and sitting up. So the foot position varies. It gives a different action on the hips. You can turn in line with the shin and turn this way. There are different ways of working. So lifting up, and then the challenging action is to extend up and rotate, hooking the arm in this position. So much extension required in this pose. And bringing the thigh towards you and extending. And turning at the same time. So this is really the first stage of your Ardha Matsyandrasana. Okay, so we're going to show you another way of doing it. If you do find that the foot is a little bit difficult to sit on, then, or if there's any knee problems, then you can sit a little bit higher.
So this is where your brick comes in, potentially.
Okay, so you sit in a Virasana action. So you're not actually sitting on the foot, And then you come into a Matsyandrasana action with the leg. And then you take the leg over the Virasana leg and you start to make that turning action. And if you're able to, with all of that going on, then you hook the arm and lift up and turn and bring. So it's quite a compact action. And in that compact action, you need to find space. So you're using the upper arm against the outer thigh to lift up. You're using the back hand to give you support. If you do find that this brick is quite high and it's difficult to reach the floor, which I would find difficult, then place another brick behind you so you can put your hand onto that. And then release it. So we do the other side. So whichever way you are working, then be sure that you're still working on that twisting action, because this develops into deeper yoga asana. So taking the right leg over the left and then see if you can hook. Now if it's difficult to hook that arm, then you will just need to
show from the front.
Have a little look here. Otherwise be continuing with your pose.
This is a pose that a lot of people struggle with, isn't it?
Yeah, we do find this. Okay, so if you do find it difficult to get that hooking action with the arm, then just hold the outer shin bone, the outer thigh, hook the elbow in. All of these actions we do explain in our pose directory. So we're joining now with this twisting action and lifting. Lift and twist. And you see that Leo's actually got a hand on the back wall here. This is another good way of working so that you can get another fulcrum to get that turning and to get that access to the spine. And then release it.
I think I need to do more of that in my practice.
Yeah, I mean it's quite challenging in that one. Okay, so we come for Dandasana. Yeah, and just scan the body. From the legs, from the extension of the heels to the opening of the ball of the foot, bring the toes towards you to get a little bit more awareness in the legs. Ground down with the thighs, hands beside you, the hips, and lift up, roll the shoulders back and down. And of course, if you find sitting in this position really challenging, then sit a little bit higher. We're coming for the Savasana action now. So coming into a bent leg position as you take the spine down towards the floor. Extend the sides of the neck, roll your shoulders back and down, shoulder blades down. Release the arms down to the side and slowly reach in those legs out. And just let yourself melt towards the earth side. Soft inhale, soft exhale. So you can continue with your Shavasana. We're coming to the end of this video now. Namaste.